Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Bitter Rebels podcast, powered by TGEM. This is episode 47, and we actually have some trades to talk about this week.
It's that time of year.
Pardon?
It's that time of year. It's the best time of year.
It's actually not quite the time of year yet, which is why it's kind of intriguing.
Well, it's because we were just saying the deadline's never the hype thing. It's always like the week or two before the deadline. It's always you get the good deals.
I don't necessarily agree with that statement.
Deadline day's been awful the last few years.
We don't have to talk about that right now. We can talk about that later. Anyway, yeah, no, I like the Leafs, what they did, getting rid of Richie's contract. So do you want to just start like we always do? We'll go Leafs, talk about the games, and I'll talk about the trade after.
Yeah, let's go Leafs right now.
Pardon?
Yeah, let's go right into the Leafs.
Okay, so last night we played St. Louis, and tomorrow there's actually a game against the Montreal Canadiens, which is going to be very exciting. But yes, earlier this week on Monday, we played the Carolina Hurricanes and beat them in overtime. Mitch Marner scored again. It was fun. Or no, that was wrong. We played the Kraken on Monday night. Sorry, I was looking at last week, the February 7th, not the 14th. I'm a week behind here. But yeah, we played the Kraken and pretty much just dominated them. It was nice to see. Mrazek got some confidence, right? Your team gets you 6 goals. It's easy to play a game.
Yeah.
And especially for a backup, you like those games. You like going in and having a nice, easy ride. Obviously, Seattle's not a very formidable opponent, but it was still nice to see the team gel like they were, and Auston Matthews scoring goals and Mitch Marner making plays, and all the things you love to see. Followed by we came home in the first game, and I don't even know how long, with fans, 50% attendance. And
they're at 50.
They're at 50% now, and you could really tell the players loved it having fans there. They were ecstatic. The boys. And Morgan Riley, if you saw his almost Connor McDavid like end-to-end power play rush, that was unbelievable.
I did not, actually.
You didn't see it? Oh my God, it was beautiful, end-to-end, like coast to coast, beauty. But in that game, actually, it was, to be honest with you, Jack Campbell had that game, and couple of those saves, if he doesn't make them, it's a totally different ball game, because I think they almost doubled us up in shots in that game. And obviously shots isn't the best teller of how a game goes, but
it's an okay one. It's an okay one.
No, because I disagree with that, because a lot of shots are simple turnovers, to be honest.
No, that's me. Like it's not entirely indicative of a game, but like you can get like an okay feel for a game by shots. You know what I mean? Like it's not the be all end all, but it's not entirely useless. It's just,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Anyway, so that was a big game, and to beat who I would consider to be a Stanley Cup contender in Pittsburgh right now. Yeah,
I don't know.
That's kind of ridiculous if you don't think Pittsburgh's a Stanley Cup contender. Remember, they have Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, Chris Letang. Their goalie's hot. They're like one of the top teams in their division.
The East is just so stacked right now that I can't put them in contender when you've got Tampa, Florida, Toronto, New York Rangers, Carolina.
You're gonna put the New York Rangers ahead of the Pittsburgh Penguins? Have you been watching hockey recently?
Right now, I am. Yeah.
No, there's no way. There's no way that the New York Rangers are better than the Pittsburgh Penguins. Totally disagree with that. Anyway, I think that was a really important game for the team. Last night, losing to St. Louis. Obviously, you can't win them all, but you'd like to have that one. William Nylander had a couple goals, and Jack Campbell again. Like that's what happened. He didn't make a couple saves. You know what I mean? You go down 2-0 in the first 10 minutes, 2 goals on 6 shots. It's just not a good way to play a hockey game. Even though we ended up tying it at 3-3, it's just not a good way to play a game, to chase it. Right?
Tell me about it. That's been the story of the Habs here.
Yeah. So that's how that went. But the big news came later when Kyle Dubas and his wizard cap team and all those guys, I don't even know what they do behind the scenes, but they were able to unload Nick Ritchie's contract. They brought in another depth forward at a lower price, Ryan Dzingel, and we can bury his contract entirely in the AHL.
Yeah. Did they not just say that he's going on waivers like a couple hours ago?
He's on waivers currently. So picking him up for a depth piece if he clears is a really big thing. But the other great thing is we picked up like a third pairing, all defense, no offense, big body Russian defenseman, which is just, that's what we need. And it's not the top 4 piece that we need, and we'll talk about that more later, but it is that defensive depth, similar to a guy like Zach Bogosian. Like, that's kind of what we're looking at. And as a Montreal fan, you saw him play a couple games ago when he played, I think it was Monday night, they played Arizona. And he was that guy. What?
Habs have not.
When's the last time you guys played Arizona?
In like 2 weeks.
Okay, so a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
I just saw a tweet that said this was Lyubushkin on Monday.
Yeah, we played Buffalo and we played St. Louis this week. That's it.
So when was that game?
The Arizona game was like a while ago.
Arizona was on. Yeah, that's a while ago. What is the guy on Twitter talking about? Oh my God, it's January 17th. It's a month ago.
Yeah, it was not recent at all.
Okay, I got bad information on Twitter. My bad. I'm friggin' batting 1,000 today, aren't I? But anyway, he's a big body defenseman. He's laid some big body checks on the Habs this year, which was exciting to see. You love a guy who can hit a Hab. So
it's not like you're going to need it in the playoffs. To hit a Hab specifically, you won't need it.
No, he can lay a body check. He's a big body guy. He comes with absolutely no offensive upside and just straight defense. He's great at clogging up lanes and preventing scoring.
Sometimes you just need that on your third pairing.
Yeah, exactly. And come playoff time, I don't know if guys like Timmy Liljegren and Travis Dermott are going to be able to fill that role, right? Like those are smaller guys that just probably can't hang with the playoff way of the way teams play in the playoffs. And that's not a knock on them. They're just young and they have different skill sets. Like that's what it is, right? The rules change in the playoffs. We know that.
Yeah.
But like that is a guarantee. The rules change in the playoffs. Nothing gets called. It was unbelievable. That was another thing in the game last night too. I was losing my mind. Like I counted honestly like 7 blatant penalties that they missed against St. Louis, and I was like, is this like just because we have the number 1 power play in the NHL, we don't get power plays anymore? Like what the fuck is going on? Like I don't understand. There were honestly about 6 or 7 plays that were just blatant missed calls. There was too many men.
Oh, but didn't they have like 7 guys on and they scored?
They had 7 guys on the ice. And they called it on us earlier. They called like a very similar penalty on us earlier. So I don't understand how you don't make that call. And like within a minute of that happening, they scored and made it 4-3. So, people bet money on this sport.
Yeah.
So like, anyway, I don't want to get too much into another referent, but anyway, great pickup. Great wizardry by Kyle Dubas. I really appreciate him recognizing early, too, like a half a year into a bad contract, that it's a bad contract instead of waiting 2-3 years like the old regime and Lou Lamoriello used to do, like with the Patty Marleau contract. He just wanted it to be so good for so long, and it just wasn't, And for Kyle Dubas to recognize this is a bad contract and I got to get rid of it half a year into it, good for him. And Nick Ritchie can go die in Arizona. Not actually die, his career.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
So moving on to Montreal, big trade.
Yeah, so we'll start with the loss to Buffalo on Monday. Lost 5-3. Jeff Skinner scored fucking 4 goals on us. Not great.
Go Jeff.
Yeah. Again, we're slowly seeing these signs of the team, I don't want to say turning around, but we're digging our way out of the hole we dug. Slowly. But following the game, the Habs traded Tyler Toffoli to Calgary for Tyler Pitlick, Emil Heineman, a 2022 first and a 2023 fifth. And the Habs just scored. Lovely. I mean, I think it's a pretty fair deal all the way around. I think it's a good haul for Toffoli. Calgary gets what they want. We get what we want. Apparently, this Emil Heineman kid is pretty okay. I could not tell you a thing about him.
Okay.
But from what I heard from a lot of like the Athletic Montreal reporters, were pretty high on him. Apparently, we've been scouting him for a little bit, so yeah.
Well, that's good.
We picked up a first rounder for this year.
I saw that. I was just looking at the trade.
Yeah. So I would say all around, it's a pretty fair deal. The first major trade in the Gorton and Hughes era, because I'm not counting Andrew Hammond for an AHL player as a fucking significant trade.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, and then Thursday night, Habs were playing the St. Louis Blues, beat them 3-2 in overtime for Marty St. Louis' first career win as a head coach. Caulfield tied the game with 8 seconds left and scored the OT winner. He's got 4 goals in 4 games under Martin St. Louis, so he's turned his season around a little bit.
Short Kings.
Everyone said it was perfect when you bring in him as the coach. The first thing everyone said was Caulfield's going to develop from this. He's going to learn from this. It's going to be great for him, and it has been. He's on pace for 30 goals under St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was it for our week. We're currently playing right now. We just Josh Anderson just put us up 2-1 against the Islanders with a few seconds left in the second here.
Nice.
But yeah, that was the week in Montreal. Actually, we did bring in Vinny Lecavalier and a couple other guys into our hockey ops team. From what I've understood, Lecavalier's role is going to be, it's not a specific role. It's more of just a utility guy within the organization where they need him to go scout.
He's not even going to live in Montreal, is he? He's going to live in Tampa still, if from what I understand.
Yeah. So, and that's kind of the thing, is he kind of, can do whatever the management needs him to do. If they want to send him scouting somewhere, if they want to, bring him on a road trip, if they want to do stuff, talking. One of the things that I read was in free agency, not tapping up players, but being a guy that can talk to guys and direct them towards signing in Montreal. I'm expecting the Habs to bring in Brad Richards, Nikolai Habibulin, and Freddie Modine to complete the 2004 Stanley Cup champion Tampa Bay Lightning management.
I don't really see why that's hot. It's weird to me, but yeah.
Well, I mean, the one link that Lecavalier and St. Louis have is that they're Quebec kids, right? That's where they were from. So there's at least some.
That. Yeah.
And actually, Lecavalier said that in 2008, I want to say 2008, maybe 2009, he authorized a trade that would have sent him to Montreal, but the deal fell through. So he did end up trying to play in Montreal. But yeah, that's really
if he
it
wanted
for the
to, he
Habs.
would have.
Yeah, that's it for the Habs week. So kind of keeping in the trade deadline talk, because the trade deadline's in a couple weeks. We got to fill in the blank for you, Ave. If I was GM, well, for you, it's going to be the Leafs. For me, the Habs. If I was GM of the Habs or Leafs, I would do blank at the trade deadline.
So I think it's pretty clear that we need somebody to fill out that top 4. Because right now, Hole and Muzzin doesn't work. It's that simple. And I don't think you want, going into the playoffs, a tandem of or any combination of Muzzin and Sandin or Muzzin and Liljegren. I don't think you want that, or Dermott. You don't want that being your second pairing. And Justin Holl is I think he's much more fit to play third pairing minutes. I think that putting him in fourth pairing, or in second pairing situations it's too much for him. Especially when you pair them with Muzzin, because they both kind of play a similar style, so they can't make up for each other on when they make mistakes. That's why I'd rather have a guy like Liljegren or Dermott playing with a guy like Muzzin, because they're quicker, they're smaller, they have different play styles. They complement each other well, exactly. When Muzzin gets caught out of position, Liljegren is fast enough that he can get back, and he's defensively sound enough that he'll be there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's whereas Hole's just not there yet. I don't believe. And I don't know that he'll get there.
Of the kind of names that have been thrown around, is there any specific names that you would kind of like prefer?
Well, like a guy that has I don't think he'll be available at this trade deadline. And this is kind of out of left field. There was talk about it last year a little bit, but I don't think he'll be available. Is Josh Manson out of
Anaheim?
Anaheim, but I don't know that he'll be available.
So the thing is, I hear that name kind of thrown around, not a lot, but like enough that I feel like he might be available. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
there's
like a guy who's not available, you don't hear his name thrown around, but you always hear that teams are in for Josh Manson.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think he's got a lot of upside, that guy.
Yeah.
And I don't know what his contract situation is like right now, to be honest with you. I kind of wish I knew more.
Oh, well, let's pull it up on Cap Friendly.
Yeah, I guess I could just do that. Yeah. But, yeah, no, there's been a lot of talk about Ben Sherratt, too, and targeting him. But I just don't like that idea. He hasn't been good this year. He's been hurt a lot of the year.
Who, Sherratt?
Yeah. Isn't he hurt now?
No, he's in the lineup actually tonight. It was just he missed basically from like last week. He's just missed like the last week, and then I think just COVID had him out. He's played most of the rest.
So he's missed a little bit of time, not as much as I originally thought, but he just hasn't been that good. He takes a lot of penalties, which I'm not very fond of. And I think also just going back to what Muzzin needs as a partner, I don't think it's Ben Sherratt. I think Ben Sherratt is quite a similar player to Muzzin, but he takes more penalties. Like, I think you want a guy
not as much in the playoffs though, because in the playoffs he gets away with a lot of the stuff.
Yeah, and that's I think about that a little bit too, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Just going back to Josh Manson, he's actually currently on the IR, and he just has the rest of this year, 21-22 at 4.1, and then he's a UFA.
What's his why is he on IR? Do you know? Does it say?
It does not say. I will see if I can find something. Yeah. No, Cat Friendly does not have a reason why.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, at 30 years old, UFA, like, can't really argue with that as a short-term option. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it depends what his injury is, though. Like, if he's not going to play again this year, then there's no point in that. And the other thing too is you don't know that. I don't like Anaheim might want to keep him as almost a rental of their own because they might want to make a run here.
Exactly.
So I don't really think that's attainable, but I've always liked him. That's, I guess, what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't really know. Like, what? I don't think it's an internal solution. I don't really have any names that I specifically think of that I want. I do think that we do need to add defensive depth, though, because that's the other thing. You add defensemen, the defensemen that you're currently playing in your top six will be depth pieces, right? Unless you trade one of them. Like, I could see them getting rid of Hole. I could see them sending Hole back in a trade like that. I could see them sending Dermott in a trade like that easily. Yeah. To, a little bit of sweetener, helping teams still be able to fill out an NHL roster, right?
Yeah.
I do like the pickup of Lyubushkin, but I don't think it's all. I don't think Kyle Dubas is done. I think he understands that he needs more. Obviously, a lot of people say we need to shore up the left side, and I just totally disagree. I think
Your left side is who?
So left side, Bunting on the top line. Kerfoot, who's regularly a center, like played center up until this season, is on the wing with Tavares and Nylander. And he's got like the sixth most 5v5 assists in the NHL this year playing on that line. So I don't see why you need to shore him up.
No.
Because he's also defensively sound. He's a center, right? So he really, really helps on forecheck, back check, everything. He's great. Then on the fourth line, you have Ilya Mikheyev playing with Kampf and Kasha. I love Ilya Mikheyev for the short time period, the small amount of games he's played, has put up pretty good numbers, to be honest with you. And he's tenacious. He's fast. He can kill penalties. He can do power play second unit easily. So I don't really understand that talk because Bunting has he pisses people off like Komarov did. He has the finishing ability of a guy like Connor Brown, and he's got the tenacity of a guy like Zach Hyman. I saw that. I'm stealing that from somebody, but it's true.
Yeah.
And what more could we ask for from him? For 950? Like, no, he's staying on the top line. That top line is magnificent. It's one of the best top lines the Leafs have had. That Bunting, Matthews, Marner combination, when they're rolling, they are rolling. Like, so good. So I think that the only work that really needs to be done would be adding like a fourth D-man, like a number 4 D-man, not 1, 2, 3, not 5, 6, a 4. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you need a partner for Jake Muzzin, straight up.
You need a partner for Jake Muzzin, exactly. That's it. That's what I do. And whatever you got to give up, I wouldn't want to give up either Matthew Nyes. I wouldn't want to give up. The one guy that I could see them trading, and no fault of his own, but is Nick Robertson. Sell high.
He's just, he is not ever like kind of got, every time it seems like he's getting on a roll, he gets hurt.
Yeah.
So I think maybe he just needs that fresh start. Yeah. I see what you mean.
So I could see that happening. Okay. So same thing with you and the Montreal Canadiens.
So I think, they picked up the first round pick in the Tolley trade, which is great. I'd like to see us get at least one more. We'd go into the draft with technically 4, but one of them goes to Arizona for the Dvorak trade. So if we picked up one more, we would have 3 picks of our own in the draft in the first round. I assume that will come from Ben Sherratt. There's also rumors that Lehkonen is going for a first. That's the price that we're asking, which the comparison I saw was to Barclay Goodrow last year, who fetched a first and a third. People are saying, the analysts are saying that that's kind of the similar how teams see Lehkonen and like the package value. I'm not going to say whether he is or isn't worth that. That is just what the experts are saying. Yeah,
the market's wild. Like anybody gets a first and a third, eh? Yeah. Like Arturi, like it used to, like I was watching Overdrive the other day, and O-Dog was like, a first used to get you like Alex McGillney. Like that's what you would trade a first for. Now you trade a first for Arturi Lehkonen. Like that's crazy. It just, like the way the market's fluctuated over the years. That's all I'm saying.
Oh yeah, no, and I think teams are recognizing the value in a guy like Barclay Goodrow, a guy like Arturi Lehkonen, to bring them in on a playoff run, like, and especially because Arturi Lehkonen's a very good all-around player. You can throw him anywhere you need in your lineup,
Yeah, no.
And he's great. And I think teams
I'm just saying, a first used to net you like a superstar.
Oh, I know. But I think teams are now realizing on both ends of the trade, whether it's team trading for or with the assets, are realizing that these guys are fucking valuable. And I think, But anyways, back to what I was saying. I would like to see us pick up at least one more first. If we can get 2, then I'm not going to argue with that. And go into the draft with 4 or 5 first-round picks would be ideal.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I guess that's all you can do now is just sell.
Yeah, there's no. I don't see a situation where we end up picking up a player. Like,
no reason
for the future. Yeah, like this isn't the time to do that. Yeah. Like if the right deal magically falls into place, I'm not going to complain, but I do not see it happening.
Yeah. So I have it's not a fill in the blank, but I have a conversation that I'd like to have.
Okay.
There's a lot of buzz this week on Twitter and certain media outlets. Matthews over McDavid.
I think there's an argument. I can't not say Connor McDavid is the best. You know what I mean?
I think 2 things can be true. That's what I think. I think Connor McDavid is probably the most talented offensive player that we've ever seen. Most talented. Not greatest.
Yeah.
Most talented.
Yeah.
Just the multitude of things he can do. He can dangle you out of your socks. He can skate right past you. He can shoot. He can pass. He can do all of it. What makes Auston Matthews great is the 200-foot game. Like, if I were to pick one of those guys to start my team with right now, any team, if I were starting an expansion team and they said, pick one of the 2 best players, pick any player in the NHL that you want to start, I would take Auston Matthews.
See, like, and I fully understand why you're saying that, and I can't. It's not that I can't argue it. It's just that, like, I just don't know how you don't pick Connor McDavid. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think there's even like if the Habs, if remember like NHL games, you do like fantasy draft. Like if the Habs had the number one pick, I would want them to take Connor McDavid. I think you just have to at this point, and I think Matthews goes second, and then you can have a conversation about who goes anywhere else in that draft.
Maybe it's my Leaf bias, but I honestly would take Auston Matthews. If the Leafs started fresh and they, like you said, first overall pick in a fantasy draft, I'm taking Auston Matthews. He's still a Leaf, 100%.
And that's the thing is, I don't want to say I don't think there's an argument, but I think we can have a conversation. I think that's the fair way to.
Let's go for a blank. Let's turn this into a fill in the blank. Auston Matthews is in blank place in the Hart Trophy consideration this year.
I mean, he's got to be top 2. And I'm leaning probably 1 just because Hart is most valuable to his team, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm probably going to put him at 1 right now.
That's where I'm at with it, too. I think he's, as of right now, the Hart Trophy leader in the race here. You got to say a lot, though, and this would, going back to Michael Bunting, you really, really have to shout out his line. Helps him succeed. Mitch Marner is so magical with the puck. The things that he can do, and just, like, it must be horrible playing defense when he's on the ice. Because he just does things, and you're like, nobody does that. Like, why would you even think of doing that? And he does it, and he makes plays, and he gets points. I think he's got 11 goals in his last 12 games. And he's not even a goal scorer.
No, he's not.
So, I think he's got 24 points, or maybe if he got an assist last night, but before last night, he had 24 points in those 11 games, including those 11 goals. And then he didn't score a goal last night. But so it's not 1-for-1 anymore. But that's the in my opinion, that's the MVP's line mate.
Yeah.
That's why, like I said, it's one of the most formidable lines in hockey right now. Definitely.
Oh, yeah.
It's terrifying having to play against those guys. The tenacity, the magic, the shot, the everything. It's just wild. And that's why Auston Matthews is my Hart Trophy contender, because his contribution to that line and his contribution to this team just can't even be measured. It's hard to measure what he does.
I think if you're looking finalists, it's going to be him, probably McDavid and Draisaitl. That would be my guess right now.
Well, Huberdeau can be there.
Yeah, Huberdeau.
Huberdeau can be there for sure. Doesn't generally go to a goalie, as we know. Carey Price is one of the only guys to do that in recent memory.
I mean, the only last 2 have been Habs goalies, actually. Carey Price, Jose Theodore.
Shesterkin's had a year.
He absolutely has.
But they're not going to give it to a goalie.
Yeah, no, he should be at least in consideration, I would say.
Yeah. And that's where I have my Hart Trophy. And that's it. Going back to Matthews versus McDavid, this is why I would take Matthews over McDavid. There is not a situation in any hockey game, last minute defensive draw, first minute of the period offensive zone draw, penalty kill, power play, 6-on-5, all of the above, that I would not want Auston Matthews on the ice. All of it. He doesn't kill penalties for us, but he could.
But to be fair, you could say the same for McDavid, I feel.
No, you don't want Auston. You don't want Connor McDavid taking the face-off with a minute left in a hockey game, up by 1, defensive zone. You just don't. He's not a good defensive player. He's just not.
He's a good face-off guy. He'll win that face-off, and then you don't need to play defense. Don't want him.
He's not going to play. He's not good defensively. He's just not. He is not that he's one-dimensional. I'm not calling Connor McDavid one-dimensional. I'm just saying he's not a 200-foot guy. He's one of the best offensive talents we've ever seen. He's not the best overall player in the league right now. He just isn't. Auston Matthews is.
Like I said, I find it really hard to argue with you, because I fully understand where you're coming from, and I absolutely believe your argument is valid. Connor McDavid is just heads and shoulders above basically everyone else in the league.
Offensively, I totally agree with you. Though that's what I mean. Two things can be true. Connor McDavid is one of the most offensively gifted hockey player we've ever seen. Right now, Auston Matthews is the best overall hockey player in the National Hockey League. Two things can be true.
Yeah. I'll give you that.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's what I got on that. I really wanted to have that conversation. I forgot to mention when we were talking about the Nick Ritchie pick earlier, the Nick Ritchie trade, that we also gave Arizona a pick in that deal. They have their choice of either a 2023 third or a 2025 second. So they take their pick.
So a little bit of sweetener.
Yeah. Funny though. That's the most into the future pick that's ever been traded, according to Cap Friendly. And those kids are 13 and 14 years old right now. So take that how you will. I don't really know what that means. I just think it's funny.
Yeah, it's just funny that the kids involved in this trade are like 13 right now.
Yeah, that's just beautiful. So yeah, Ontario's opening up again. Hockey games, you can go to them. I'm going to one. I'm going to the St. Patrick's Day game in Toronto. Yeah, it's going to be a really good time. Pardon?
Getting your bunting jersey?
Here's the thing. I want to get a St. Patty's Day jersey, but they haven't produced them since 2019. And they're not going to because the Stadium Series game is like a week before, and they're going to sell those jerseys. Why would they release two? They're not going to market two jerseys at once. You know what I mean?
But I don't think they'll do like they won't like make like new ones, but they might just have the old one, like the ones that they've had the last couple of years. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but Michael Bunting just became a Leaf, so there aren't going to.
Yeah, but they can slap a fucking name and number on the back. That's not a difficult thing.
Yeah, I'm also not trying to spend $250 on a jersey. I was just going to get one of the Fanatics ones.
Oh, $250. It's fucking yeah. So if you're getting the Fanatics one, maybe, but the real ones are fucking a lot more than that.
What?
No, like the real ones are like they start at like 300 plus a fucking name and number on the back. Yeah.
No, I got Adidas hockey jerseys.
Like the real fucking dead ass fucking authentic ones. Yeah.
Oh, I just have these ones here, the Matthews and the Tavares jersey. I'm saying $7 for these.
Yeah, you got a fucking great deal on those. You got a fucking phenomenal deal on those.
Yeah.
I do not. I pay fucking full price for all mine because I'm a fucking moron.
Yeah, there you go. Anyway, so that's been kind of the week that it's been. Florida's rolling. Calgary is rolling.
Yeah.
Calgary is absolutely on fire, and they just picked up Tyler Toffoli. They're a scary team going.
Oh, and he's already scoring for them too. Did you see the goal he got in his first game there?
Ridiculous. Yeah, unbelievable. Excuse me. Oh, I'm just watching. I'm watching Blackhawks Panthers right now. 1-1. 1-1 hockey game.
Habs are still up 2-1 on the Islanders. Third period just started. You want to talk a little bit of Olympic hockey?
Yeah, we could talk a little bit of Olympic hockey. So Finland.
Yeah, let's start with the men.
Yeah, we'll start with the men.
Finns. First Olympic gold for the men, beating the Olympic athletes from Russia 2-1 in the final.
It's just Russia. Just say Russia. I'm not here for the Russian Olympic Committee. I'm not here for it.
Anyways, Russia. Big shout out to Slovakia for winning their first ever men's ice hockey medal, picking up the bronze. That was great for them.
Shout out Martin Marincin, baby. Let's go. Martin Marincin is Olympic medalist.
So Canada and US both went out in the quarters for the first time since 2006.
Yep, so that sucked.
Yeah. Did you end up watching the final at all?
The men's final?
Yeah.
Last night, yeah, but I don't really remember it. I was pretty drunk.
It was a pretty good game of hockey.
Yeah? Yeah, no, I remember it being a tight game late. Yeah. That's what I remember.
Yeah, very nerve-wracking the last few minutes for sure.
Okay, now moving on to the big one.
The women. Fucking A.
Let's go! Beating the United States in another 3-2 hockey game. Marie-Philippe Poulin with her third, not one, not two, but third golden goal.
We're just going to stop here for a second, Ave, on Marie-Philippe Poulin. 4 Olympic gold finals, 6 goals, 3 of them are fucking gold medal winning goals.
I got goosebumps thinking about it.
So I need to raise you this question. Is Marie-Philippe Poulin the best player to ever wear a Team Canada jersey? Speaking strictly Olympic or like international events.
Absolutely.
Male and female. She has to be the best.
Anybody else have 3 golden goals?
No,
not even close. So,
like, if I was building,
Crosby has 1.
Like, if I was building an all-time Team Canada, so any international event under IIHF, or like even if you want to go back to like Summit Series and stuff, like Marie-Philippe Poulin is in that team. She is in that starting 6.
She needs to be recognized. She's the greatest Canadian Olympic athlete for hockey ever, for sure.
Oh yeah.
She's unbelievable. MPP, just absolutely. And you could see when she took that penalty in the last minute there and they scored on it to make it 3-2 with like 12 seconds left. You could see her, like, the anxiety that filled her face, and it was tough, but
then she goes out
on top after that.
She goes out and then wins that draw with 12 seconds left.
Yeah.
Because that's just the player she
fires it down. Yeah. Unbelievable. Props, hats off to her. Yeah, and then following that, she gets a contract offer from an ECHL team.
The Canadians ECHL team.
And then she told them, no, but you can help me grow the women's sport. Yeah, an absolute boss move.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
And kind of, if we want to kind of stick on that for a second too, like, I think we've said it a few times now, and we've been saying it even from before we had the podcast. Like, we need a professional women's hockey league. We need it.
Absolutely.
Like, and I don't know how you don't take the fucking momentum from this and the hype from this. Like, how do you, like, you have to take this and fucking turn it into something now.
If I'm not mistaken, that game, which I remind you started at 11 o'clock Eastern, was more watched than any NHL hockey game in the United States.
Yep.
From this season. So what does that tell you?
Well, it's telling you there's a market for it, not only in Canada. Because, I mean, look, Canada, you can put any hockey on and we will watch it. Yeah. But the States, the States aren't like that. But you're seeing that the States, there's an appetite for it. There's a clear appetite
absolutely.
For it. And if you put it on fucking, a nationally televised stage, people will watch it. In record numbers, they will fucking turn up and watch it.
All they need is a massive corporate sponsor, a sponsorship from the NHL, and a massive TV sponsor. And that's what they need. They get those 3 things, and they will have a successful hockey league.
What I would love to see, and fucking, I know I compare it to soccer again, but in European soccer, a lot of, the major men's teams have a women's team, and they kind of run through that. So
that's how I think that would be a very smart way to do this, I think.
I would love to see the NHL do that. And it's not going to start with all 32 teams. That would, be ridiculous. But even if you start with 10 teams.
Yeah.
And my thinking was like the original 6, a couple of the Canadian teams, and then maybe like a Pittsburgh, a Philly, one of those kind of teams. Get those ownership groups in, get them going. And you start with those, 10, 12 teams and build from there.
Yeah.
And I don't see how.
Of course, you have to remember, neither of us have ever started a friggin' league before.
Yeah.
But it needs to be done. It's absolutely time for this to happen. It's ridiculous. And I saw something Chris Johnston said this morning. Once, 4 or 5 years into this, we're going to look back and we're going to go, why the hell didn't we do this sooner?
Yeah. And
that's how this is going to be. It's going to be a major success. As long as they get it done, it will be a success. I don't think, like you said, there's just an appetite for it.
Yeah, here's the thing, Abe. It's fucking, 3, 4 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon, and I'm watching hockey on 2 screens. That's how we as people in Canada fucking work. That's how we exist. Is we're always watching hockey. And it doesn't matter if this is if there's OHL games on, because TSN's had a few recently. Fucking near the end of last season, there was some fucking college hockey on. Any hockey, you put it on, we watch.
Yes.
And if you're putting Marie-Philippe Poulin, Natalie Spooner, Hillary Knight, the best women's players in the world,
Brianna
on
Decker.
Like, oh yeah, all of those people. Like, put them on my TV. I'll watch them fucking play all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And also, just a shout out to the team that produced the whole Olympic hockey experience on both sides. Chris Cuthbert and Johnny are great together.
Oh, yeah.
Mike Johnson and Chris Cuthbert, fantastic. Cheryl Pounder and Brian Mudrick, wonderful. Great.
Yeah.
I loved it. The whole production was great.
Even the panel they had.
Zabados. Zabados, Mickelson, and Kate Burness.
Yes. And then the other panel was PJ Stock. Who's PJ with? PJ with another group. And then
Haley Salvian.
Maybe?
I think it was Haley Salvian. And was it? No, it wasn't Elle's brother. Anyway, I forget who the other one was on that one, but it was PJ Stock and definitely Haley Salvian. And yeah, she's always been good.
The whole production end was great.
Yep.
And man, like, just is there anything better to end the Olympics than fucking Team Canada singing the national anthem after beating the States for a gold medal? Is there anything better?
Love to see it. It absolutely warms my heart to see it.
Like, I'm not like a super patriot, like fucking, crazy, but like that just
tears every time. Tears every time. Doesn't
100%.
matter.
100%.
Yeah, that's just how I operate, man.
All right, so what do the Leafs have lined up for this week? Fuck. Tomorrow we got a big one.
Yeah, tomorrow, and I believe we also play Tuesday, back-to-backers.
Ooh, that's a fun one.
So yeah, we host you guys tomorrow? No, we're in Montreal tomorrow. And then we play the Jackets on Tuesday, Wild at home on Thursday, and then Saturday versus the Detroit Red Wings.
Ooh, that'll be fun.
So 4-game week. Love to see it.
Yeah, so we've got, obviously the Leafs on Monday. We've got the Sabres. Yes.
Do you want to come watch that game tomorrow? It's family day.
Fuck it, why not?
Want to come watch the game tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. Anyway, continue. Sorry.
So anyways, the Leafs tomorrow, the Sabres Wednesday in Montreal, and then Saturday we go to Ottawa to play the Senators.
Nice.
Yeah.
Couple of dumpster fire derbies, but that's okay.
Yep.
That's okay. That's what it is this year for the Habs. Okay. Yep. Nothing else you want to get off your chest this week, Gitano?
I'm trying to think. Is there any other major news this week?
I think we tackled a lot. We got to the Olympic hockey. We got to Leafs, Habs, all the trades that happened, the games. We got to what else did we get to? I forget.
Just quickly, Marchand had his his suspension upheld by the league.
Did you see what Jari said to him? He actually admitted that to the commissioner, man. That was so funny. He admitted that the only thing that Jari said that triggered him was, "What a expletive save, eh?"
You can swear on our show. Fuck it, Ave.
And Brad Marchand's wires went. Guy's a psycho.
Yeah.
Guy is nuts. And now everybody who ever makes a save on Brad Marchand has to say, what a fucking save, eh? Just to see how long it takes for him to go ballistic again.
Like for all the reasons to like swing at a guy's, not swing at a guy's head, but take a shot at a guy's head like that. Like that's just
because he made a save on you and then said, "Nice save, eh?"
Like I get it if he like actually chirped Marchand, like oh you fucking, that was a fucking muffin, like you know just something like that. But like no.
Well, let's be real. Brad Marchand called Artemi Panarin soft because Brad Marchand was chirping him about like people in Russia not liking him, and Panarin was like, "Are you kidding me, buddy? Like seriously?" And then he called him soft for that. But then he goes ballistic over a goalie saying, "I made a save."
Yeah.
Who's soft, Brad? Seriously, buddy. Come on. Give your head a shake.
Just
anyway.
Yeah.
That's what I have to say there.
Oh, and then another quick thing. Shout out to Sid the Kid, 500 career goals. That's hella impressive.
Big milestone. I was watching the game earlier, the Pittsburgh, who were they playing? Pittsburgh Carolina game. And they
got
presented
501, eh?
Pardon?
He got 501 in that game too.
Yeah. And he was presented before the game with a few gifts from the Pittsburgh Penguins organization. Obviously, he has done a lot for them.
You sure? You
yeah,
sure he's done a lot for them?
3 cups, legendary status, potentially Mount Rushmore status.
No.
It's possible. Can't count him out. Sid, come on, 3 cups.
I look. That's nothing against Sid. I just think. Remember, like we did this in like in the first 10 episodes of the Bitter Rivals podcast. We did top 10 all time, and we got to a point that like after the top 4 or 5, you're like, there's like 40 guys you could interchange in there, and none of them are wrong. You know what I mean?
I would consider Sid in the upper echelon of those guys even. That makes sense.
I think Sid cracked both of our top 10s, but he was in like the 6, 7, 8 spot, I think.
Yeah, well, I don't know. 500 goals, that's an achievement. That might move him up a little bit in my books because he's still got some years to play yet. He might win another one, man. I think they're contenders. I don't know what you're seeing that makes you think that, but dude, they ran off a 10 streak like not too long ago, right before we beat them. They ran off a 10 streak. That's a contender.
There's just so many, and that's like, and I was just talking East. In the West, you've got fucking Colorado and Vegas, who are fucking juggernauts. Oh, Eichel's back. We got to talk Jack Eichel quick.
Yeah, we'll just touch on that quick.
Yeah, just a quick one. Jack
Eichel's back. Gonna be honest with you, I've watched a couple of the games that he's played in. He doesn't look that good. He got his first point the other night. Believe it was a secondary assist.
It's also like the first games he's played healthy in like a year and a half.
Yeah, no, but even on the broadcast, they were saying Jack Eichel's the type of guy that you expect to come back hot.
Like, I mean, he's coming off like
he's marketed as a top 10 talent in the world.
No, and I get that, but I mean, again, major neck surgery. Like, I did not expect him to like just show up and you start fucking going a point a game. You know what I mean? Not right away.
Fair. That's fair.
Yeah, but I am excited to see him back.
It's awesome to have him back in the league. It's always better when the best players are playing, right?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Anyway, go Leafs go for tomorrow's game.
Go Habs go.
We'll be watching live from the garage. And thanks again for listening this week. We appreciate you. Thanks to TGEM for hosting us, powering us. It's beautiful. We love working with you. And we will talk to you next week.